Hi families, Becca Swisher just wanting to connect with you to talk about screen time and your kids. And don't worry, this is not a guilt trip. There is necessary screen use, especially right now during a pandemic. But we can help the effect that that has on our kids by understanding what's going on in their brain. So this video will teach just really briefly what's going on in your child's brain when they're engaged with screen use, and then we'll have some follow-up videos that talk about what you can do to help lessen the impact that using screens has on your child's growing and developing brain. So the first thing to know about screen use is that our bodies are designed to take visual input, things that are moving, colorful, bright, and react to them. And it's something that's designed in us to keep us safe. You know, you think of, let's say a tiger got loose at the zoo, and you see that flash of stripes and orange and black, and your body immediately knows it needs to get going and out of the way. And so screen use can act the same with our kids. And we call this going to the fight, flight, or freeze response. When our body goes into this response, when it has been stimulated with something visual that our body feels like it needs to react to, things like video games, even playing apps, and watching shows too, especially fast-paced shows. It really increases our stress hormone released in our body. It also prepares our body for flight, or to save ourselves, to protect ourselves. And we get this whole stress response built up, and essentially we have nothing to do with all that adrenaline that's been built up. Now, while that's happening, we have all this adrenaline that is moving from the spot called the prefrontal cortex. That's the front part of our brain that does all of our problem solving. So while we're in this, immediate response that needs to happen, the blood actually moves back to the part of the brain that controls that fight, flight, or freeze. And again, it's all designed with a really good purpose of keeping us safe. But what happens? So our kids are watching a show, or they're playing a video game, and we turn it off. And the initial response, much of the time, that you have probably seen is a flip out. They lose it. They can't switch gears. They essentially, their whole engine of their body is all revved up, and there's nowhere to go. So just be aware of that your child often will need, if you can give it to them, a little chance to switch gears after they've had screen time. In our upcoming videos, we'll call this a reset or a detox, a chance to have a break from screens. So in a nutshell, that is a lot of what's going on in your child's brain. There's a whole nother layer that when we talk about screen addiction that comes in, there is a chemical our body releases called dopamine. We're designed to connect. And so that is another part of who we are. And again, it's a safety thing, and it's an amazing part of how we as humans are created to be. But it is also something that leads us to be prey, essentially, to things like notifications, wanting to connect with our friends on social media. These things are not all bad, especially in a pandemic when we can't be face to face. We just want to be in control of the media, the medium, instead of it controlling us. So more to come on what that looks like. But again, knowledge is power, always with these things. And the more that you can understand what's going on in your kids, the better you can understand. You can have a little empathy, a little grace for them as we work together to create chances for their brains to reset. So more soon.